We're going to be talking about lead gen, e-commerce, high AOV, low AOV, subscription, everything. We're going to go through kind of cover everything. We're going to do it basically not using pretty much any tools. We're not going to be using, third-party analytics. This is going to be like, I just landed here. I'm the media buyer and I'm going to help them grow their business, or I'm the CMO or whoever, agency, insert your title here. But what can we afford? So we'll start off with, let's do lead gen first. That'll be fun. We'll change it up a bit. So we have a lead gen client, and lead gen is typically because a value per conversion, or the average order value, is going to be somewhat over like the $500 or $1,000 range. So if you're looking at like, dentistry or professional services, or maybe even a high AOV product, something that maybe is $15, $20, $30,000, usually you do lead generation, then you move into, you move into the commerce side offline with phone calls, emails, texts, and sales teams executing. So what I like to do for lead generation is look at the cost per quality lead. Typically your sales cycle is going to be a little bit longer, and not everybody that is going to end up buying all looks the same. What I mean by that is there's something called the at-bats, and that is how we typically like to identify what our cost per at-bat is. And when I say at-bat, it's an old baseball term that essentially says, hey, I went up there. I know I can hit the ball, and I know I can hit a home run. I took 3 swings and I missed, but I'd like more chances at bat. You can't really, hit a home run if you don't go up to the plate and swing. And that's essentially how we think about lead generation, which is how many leads do we need of quality, even though one may had a death in the family. One might be moving and unexpectedly, something that happened in their lives that says, hey, I would have gone through this, but I had an objection that was not necessarily tied to your company. That typically is, or the lead just may have too little cash flow. Something that it's like, okay, if that was just, 2 pegs to the left, we would have made a deal. So we look at those things as at-bats, but we try to go down the rabbit hole as far as we can with the lead before we say, okay, now it's out of our hands. It's in your lap. Like marketing did everything it possibly can. Now it's turned over to sales. The further on down that path you can get, the better off your campaigns will perform typically. Meaning if I'm just counting like the people that click the phone call button versus the people that have given a verbal go ahead to, yes, let's move forward, they're still leads, but one is really early in the leads sales cycle when they're contacting the company. And one is like, I've been working with them for maybe 2 months. So we don't want to count too few or too many of the lower, not quality, but too early leads. We want to go as far down the rabbit hole as we can to say, okay, after this point, we have like a 90% chance that these people are going to buy. And when you're looking at lead flow, it's going to be anything that you're going to be coming from either the sales team or maybe something you can identify autonomously. Sales team is good. So when you're looking at like a CRM tool, say like, okay, yesterday's leads 38. Now this is good. Look, we have 38 leads that came in yesterday. Okay, we understand that. So far today, we have 16 leads. So now of the 38, what is going to be moving forward with leads as a next step? Well, what we have identified is that it actually goes pretty smoothly to this. We have a lead count per day, which is just your random kind of like this what happened yesterday. That's good for us to kind of keep a barometer. But we call them custom contacts report. This is basically just leads that are not confirmed as junk. So when the sales team reaches out to them, if it's like number disconnected or person answers the phone and say, who are you? I've never heard of you before. Those are already removed. Those are already excluded now. And so what we're looking at is this month so far, we have 572 leads. Now that's good, but that still means that, okay, we have warm bodies that are real. They're not quality yet. So we have to look, okay, what's the next rung down the ladder? Well, we have 572 leads, but we know we cannot move forward with these leads unless they talk with a designer. So they have to schedule it, or if they book a call, they have to get in front of a designer so that we can see what's going on. These are about $15,000 to $18,000 to $20,000 outdoor kitchens. We tried to sell parts of them through e-commerce. We actually have a whole separate company that does that. It works very well. We can sell these pieces in the e-commerce fashion, but we want the big AOV to come through lead generation. So the next step is, okay, now we have 162 that have booked with a designer this month so far. You'll see like this entire month. So let's do this quickly. Let's say we have 162 since December 1st. Okay. So December 1st, we have a now cost, and we're primarily, we have like, I don't know, $3,000 a day on Google and like $30 a day on Meta. It's basically just used for remarketing. So we're not even going to include that spend. But if you have other channels, you have to include that in your cost per quality lead. That's everything working together.
So we're saying all channels, same thing, just looking at how much does it cost globally from marketing to get a lead.
Exactly. So if you say, hey, you have an ad spend that's going out for lead generation, we can't be paying $5,000 a quality lead. Our close rate's only 10%. That'd be $50,000 for a sale, and we're only going to make a grand total of 30. So we know the cost per quality lead has a indication of a benchmark that it has to be below, divided by the conversion rate of those users. And so we know that we spent $75,178. Okay. So our spend so far is 75, and inside of our booked calls with designer, it's coming in at 162. So right now we have a $464 cost per quality lead. Okay. Now that's this month so far. But again, we're looking at a rolling like 60-day average. So this is going to be a little bit high because all the money that we spent so far have booked with a designer this month, but we still have like 200 that have already booked with a designer last month that have not closed yet. So all we're doing right now is looking at our month to date cost per quality lead, and we do want this to be under $1,000. That is going to be that's our top of the ceiling benchmark. We do have fairly good close rates. They're about 25%. So if we're paying $500 for a quality lead, we're going to be closing these people for about 2 Gs, and we're going to be making some good money on it. And we actually do. So that's what's kind of nice, is that means that when we're looking at a cost per quality lead, these are booked with a designer. They're going through the process and they're saying like, yep, I know what it looks like. I know what it costs. I'm ready to move forward. Let's talk with a designer. Let's get the ball rolling. From this point in time, unfortunately, my sales cycle is about 6 months. I can't even import these conversions when they actually give us money, because they have to go and build a whole custom kitchen, get it installed, and be like, looks good, and then they're gonna say, okay, we have the money now. Like they take payments along the way, but that's the point in time where I say like, what's your closed one, and we have to import those. So we know our cost per quality lead is sub $500 right now, and that's fantastic. That's very good. And now we have to look at like what is our actual cost per closed deal. So we have 42 closed deals so far this month. So let's just do another really quick calculation. So again, we remember we have 75K in ad spend. So that's $75,000 in ad spend divided by 42. We have 1785. Now, this is a cost per closed sale. Remember when I said our cost per lead is about $500? So our cost per deal should be under 2K if we have a 25% close rate. This is how we keep ourselves in check, which is lead quality, lead quantity, top line health metrics. We know what we can afford to spend for these users. So because I'm still under my cost per acquired first time customer at less than $2,000, and I'm making on average $20,000 sales. Okay, so if we're basically getting $2,000 leads, $20,000 sales, that is a 10x MER. So I should be achieving a 10x target. Let's take a look. And so if we have $610,000 in revenue so far, so we have 610,841 this month, divided by the $75,000 that we've spent inside of ads, it's at an 8.14. Again, we have spent money that has not been counted as a deal yet this month. So we are not at a 10x yet. But if I paused all ad spend and let the rest of the leads flow through, we would achieve that target, which is why when we look at our closed months, so month in November, we'd look back and say, yep, we've achieved a 10x. We actually have like 11x for November already. We have already confirmed that we're above our target, even if we have some scragglers come in.
So this is just the lag time issue is all you're saying.
That's all it is. Yeah, because remember our sales cycles are about 6 months from I just met you to, wow, this looks fantastic, and everything in between. So you have leads that are coming every day. They take a few days to be moved through. Are they quality? Then they take another few days to book a call with a designer. Then they take another few days to put a down payment on, and yada, yada, yada. So all of that stuff is a rolling moving average. I did this month so far because I already know what the metrics are. But if you were doing this for the first time and say, where are we in the sales cycle? Like, I just joined here. What's going on? They're like, I don't know, help. And say, okay, well, we have to work kind of backwards. So to identify all this stuff, you have to say, okay, how many closed deals do you have per month? Well, it looks like we have about 100 closed deals per month. Okay, how many leads does it take to get there? It takes about 1,000 leads. Okay, so we have 100 closed deals a month. It takes about 1,000 leads to get there. So you have about a 10% conversion rate. Okay, so what do you make on these 100 closed deals? Well, we make about $500,000. Cool. So $500,000 divided by 100 closed deals means that we can afford up to basically $5,000 cost per quality lead. Yes. Okay, so you kind of just simply work backwards from the end point all the way back to the beginning to see where are the ceilings. I know I can't pay X amount of dollars for a lead because the lead to quality lead conversion rate is X. Okay, once they make it to a quality lead, I know I can't pay more than X amount of dollars per quality lead because quality lead going to a designer is X. Okay, now once I have a design lead, I know that I can't pay more than X amount of dollars for a design lead. So when they move to the stage from design lead to close, then it's like it's another X. So you sort of have to benchmark every single milestone of the journey and what your maximum cost could be. Now, why is this important? Well, you have two things that are going to be variables that are moving at any given time frame. And the two variables that are going to be moving is you're going to have your kind of seasonality and your high times and your low times, and then you're going to have your time lag. So if you have seasonality, that could be volume or it could be quality. So as an example, your volume and quality looks very, very different. If I look at 365 days today up to, I don't know why that thing all of a sudden is like 1,900 conversions. That was weird. But anyway, like if we look at our, I know this is going to be, what the, there we go. So we redid our conversion tracking. But if we just look at our costs, like if I'm sitting here in Christmas time, I'm definitely not spending as much as I am when it's like, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or like coming into summer. So you see a lot of different times, like you could maybe only afford a cost per quality lead that's very low. Why? Because the close rate is very low during this time. Now, can you afford a higher cost per lead during the high times? Yeah, because these people are just closing like crazy and we're getting backed up. So we can afford to pay more. Let's bring them in, just keep going. Everyone's just closing. So you see that your different times of year, your ad spend and your cost per quality lead may need to increase, stay flat, increase, really reduce. These are all affecting those qualities and quantities. And so this helps you navigate. And you can even, if you're with the company for a long time or the company's been in business a long time, you can even benchmark how's our Q1 through Q2 through Q3 through Q4. And let's compare those year over year. Is there anything that we can afford more or less of? Black Friday, you could probably afford a little more. Christmas Day, no, you really can't. So there's going to be those fluctuations, and those are things that you have to kind of milestone and work backwards from to the actual company metrics. Because if the company metrics hold tight, then the cost per quality is now going to be more indicative of is your campaign, are your campaigns working? Are they bringing in quality? Do you just have like an ebook download that's getting 2-cent downloads and no one's closing? Well, your cost per quality lead might be $10,000 because nothing's quality. So it helps you also regulate your ad spend so that you can't go too crazy with lead flow that is low quality, but you also can't overspend for bottom of the funnel number one all the time because the cost per lead may be very high, even if it is quality. And that's kind of where you have to balance is the quality of lead and the quantity of lead within your daily ad spend and also your conversion rates for that stage of the journey. Hey, if you like this video, we have a school community where we have a few hundred members and we cover topics, everything from the basics to all the way to the like hyper crazy advanced stuff that's like coming out next month. So a few hundred members there. We go live twice a week, something with an hour-long education about something that is very relevant to the community that week, plus a weekly Q&A where you just get to come and bring us all of your problems and we solve them one at a time.
So I have a link below in the description if you want to join. And then obviously if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we can answer those for you. And we'll see you in there.